Jeffrey doesn't read. But the truth is, Jeffrey can't read. He's been overstimulated by TikTok. And so when you tell him about all the benefits of reading, he says, I can just watch some YouTube videos instead. But the truth is, Jeffrey doesn't watch YouTube videos, bro. He goes on TikTok looking for thirst traps, bro. Like, if you went on his favorited, bro, you'd have to get onto NoFap immediately, bro. Like, it's just mad. But Adonis consistently reads for hours every single day. So when he sees Jeffrey coping because he can't read because he just has a broken attention span, he grabs Jeffrey by his those little school bags. Like, he grabs him by his bag, drags him to his house, sits him down on a bean bag, and throws him a book. And Adonis watches Jeffrey read, and he teaches him how to actually read and how to be consistent, and that it's okay to start small. Adonis isn't actually angry. He's actually being compassionate, but obviously you'd be livid if you saw someone just being stupid, right? And you can't leave them behind like that. So, Adonis has basically kidnapped Jeffrey for the whole day, and Adonis lets him go. And then Adonis goes to sleep. And then he wakes up the next morning with a ring on his doorbell. So he runs downstairs and opens the door. And it's Jeffrey with a book in his hand, ready to go back on the beanbag. Adonis smiles and nods in approval. So, first things first, I'll just clear this up quickly. Yes, I use Jeffrey and Adonis. I've been inspired by Hamza, and I want to carry on the message. And it's actually kind of fun to make these Jeffrey and Adonis intros, so I want to keep using them. And then we got a water break, and I'm going to tell you a story about how I got into reading. Sorry, I'm just looking at the script. But in February 2021, I'm talking to my friend because he's also on self-improvement, because we both watched Hamza. So here we are, we're just talking about self-improvement stuff whilst the Jeffreys of the group are just doing their own thing. And then, at this time, I'm not reading books. So I mentioned reading books to the friend who's on self-improvement because I know he's already reading books. And he tells me about all these benefits and whatnot, and he motivates me. So at that very moment, we go to the school library, and I pick up a book, and I go home with it. And then when I'm at home, I'm reading and taking notes. I'm actually learning. And for the first time in 5 years, I actually am reading again. Not for school, not because my parents told me to, but because I want to. And a month later on, I actually finished the book, and I've got a whole bunch of notes on it. And then from that point onwards, I just realized that I was missing out so much because I didn't read. And now I'm going to have to tell you about reading, because I can't just keep this to myself, bro. Reading is actually so powerful. I know it sounds nerdy. I know you think I'm some loony who just plays Dungeons and Dragons. I know you think that, because I was one of those guys too who believed reading is for nerdy people who just don't have fun in their day. I attributed reading to boredom, because I'll be honest, when you're let's talk about this, yeah, because this is the reason that no one likes to read. It's because of school. The school system, the education system, which is supposed to help us gain education, makes us hate reading. Why? Because we're forced to read books that we are not interested in. So the reason you don't like reading is because, I'm going to tell you, it's because of school. Because when you were, back in primary school, I don't know what it is for Americans, it might be elementary school or whatever, when you're just, there was forced reading time when you literally trot to the library, trot to the library and then like you pick up some random book because everyone was forced to read, and if you were like caught lacking and you weren't reading, bro, like consequences and that, like, is actually so annoying. Because as well, the school, like at least my school, it didn't really have interesting books to read, bro. Like, there was some books which like were okay, but it was so dead, honestly. I'm just gonna be real. It was just so dead. I'm actually against reading when it's like forced on you from school, because, well, not I'm not. It's hard to explain, but like it's just stupid. School demotivates you from reading so much because, like I say, like they're gonna make you get books on like how Saturn got rings. Like, do you really care? Do you really care? Probably not, right? And so imagine you've been forced to do that from young, and now when you're older, the only, like, when you think about reading, you remember those feelings when you were forced in school to just sit there and read a book on, like, is it Uranus or Uranus? Like, you know what I mean? It was just boring. But I promise you, books, some books are terribly boring. I'll keep it real with you. Some books are horrid. But the self-improvement books, the books that like are good for you and will change your life, they're sick, bro. They're actually entertaining to read through. And I know you think I sound like a nerd saying that, but it's true. And you'll only know that once you actually pick up a book again. And I know it's difficult because you're thinking like, oh, but what if this book is boring? But you can't think failure. You must think success. You must think this is going to work out. You can't worry about whether it's not going to work out, because right now it's not working out for you anyway. Right? The truth is, you clicked on this video, a noob's guide to reading, because you want to get into reading, but you're probably not reading right now. And you're begging for a way to actually read and be consistent in reading, and here is your solution. So I know we just went on a mad side tangent, but it is important. I didn't even script this part, but I blame school for the reason that that people don't read anymore. Because reading is honestly the true education. Even this, watching YouTube, educational YouTube content, this is real education. The school system, it's not that good, bro. And I don't want to be like all these self-improvement YouTubers, the school system, like with a tin hat on and all of that. Like, the school system's manipulating masculinity, and like, that's a whole separate conversation, right? But like, I'm still in the education system. It's horrible, bro. Like, the minute I got into high school, which I think for Americans is like 6th grade, when our school didn't force us to read anymore, and at the time I felt so blessed. But now it's almost like I regret that. Well, I kind of don't regret it, because it's like, if I would have I wouldn't have my free will and whatnot. So yeah. Anyway, I've been yapping on for a whole 8 minutes. The practical thing for reading, the practical way to just start reading is just start small. You need to make it a habit before you start doing like long sessions. I'd rather you do 5 minutes a day of reading than 30 minutes one day, and then you don't want to do it for a whole nother week because it's like 30 minutes was like your limit. You kind of like burn out, and now the next session you read is like 20 minutes and it's just hit and miss. I want consistency from you. I don't care about how long your reading session was. If you don't come to me with, Alfie, I read for 10 hours yesterday, are you proud? I don't care about that. Tell me that you've been reading for the past 10 days after watching this video. Tell me that you've been learning consistently. That's what I want to know. So start small. And to help you with this, get a habit tracker. There's no point to you thinking about consistency if there is no habit tracker in place to like actually track that visibly. It's no point, right? So to make a habit tracker. I'm going to make a whole YouTube video on how to make a physical habit tracker, but if you just want to get started, literally just go on the App Store and type in habits or habit tracker. The one I use, I'm on a Samsung phone, like relax, but I use Loop habit tracker. And like, if some tech nerds like things being open source and they see that as a benefit, that it is open source. You don't have to make an account for it, which is part of the reason why I like it as well. Because it's like sometimes you create a habit, an account, and then you can't delete it, and then it's just like, what the hell, man? I just got scammed, bro. And then I think on iPhone it's just titled Habits, like that's the app, which is similar to Loop Habit Tracker, so you can go and download that. I'm not affiliated with any of these, I just personally like them. So that's pretty much, that is how to read. That is it. Like, I know we spent most of this time talking about the education system and how it's corrupted you and me and everyone we know and love, but like, it's true, bro. I don't really want to bash the education system that because it's like, there honestly is, is there really? We'll save it for another day, bro. It don't matter right now. Oh yeah, just looked at the script. Pro tip, because it's actually bizarre how people don't do this. When you read, pick something you're interested in. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Read something you're interested in. It doesn't matter if you're halfway through a book. If you are not interested in that topic right now, go and buy another book which you are interested in. Because if you don't have an interest in the topic that you want to read, you will simply stop reading. It's like playing a video game that you find excruciatingly boring, instead of just, like, let's say both games are free for the sake of, like, because they're like, oh, but one of them's £50, shut up. Right? If two video games are free, and one you used to be interested in it, but you're not interested in it anymore, but then you've seen a YouTube video and now you're interested in this, like, this video game, and they're both free, you would go and play this video game, would you not? So why is it different for books? Why would you stay with this book when it's not interesting, when you can go and get this book when it is interesting? Like, ta-da, like, what do you want, bro? So, just do that. And if you're struggling for a place to find books, you could literally go on YouTube and type in self-improvement books. You could do that. So, I don't really know what... I don't think I need to walk you through every step because you're not that clapped. So, you know, like, just think. So, yeah, man, just think, bro. It's not hard. And I know it's almost like I've just been screaming and shouting at you, like, read books! Like, I know I sound like a Dungeons and Dragons player, but trust me, when you start reading and you actually educate yourself, it's going to sound cringe, but you're actually going to start feeling like an intellectual. You're actually going to feel like you're going to see profound changes in your life and your mindset and everything you do. I promise, because I know you have all these, like, misconceptions about reading, but I promise you just got to give it another chance. You haven't read for ages now. Like, times can change, bro. You're not forced to read books in school anymore. You get to choose what you want to read. You get to choose what you educate yourself on. Do you not, like, this is sick, bro, because you know deep down in your heart there is a level of truth to what these guys on YouTube who wear pajamas when they record are saying. You kind of believe there is value to reading, but you just believe it's boring, and it's because of those past experiences. But it's time to make new experiences. Because if we get everyone to read, if you get your friends and family to read, if I get my friends and family to read, if we get everyone to read, we'll start actually having a better society in general, bro. We'll have people with better mentalities, better physiques, more developed minds, because, like, you've seen some people on the internet, their brain is absolutely fried, bro. we'll start having more deep conversations instead of shallow ones. Because to be honest, like, everyone loves deep conversations, but most of us can only get into shallow ones because we've overstimulated ourselves. But when we read and when we educate ourselves, we'll start to have deeper conversations because we'll have more substance to talk about. Instead of just like the TikTok we seen 5 minutes ago, now we'll be able to talk about the books we read and the ideas, and we'll be able to discuss almost like higher level stuff. We'll have people around us who are on a higher level of thinking, and that's what I want for everyone, bro. So like I say, start small, get the habit tracker, and start reading a book you're interested in right after watching this video. Safe.